Welcome back, guys. I got my vibe working again. It was just needing a restart. So let's give it a test. So now we can twist and turn. And why is this so heavy? Oh, wait, I said a limit. Let's give it 0 limit. Has no limit. So there we go. Very nice little spinner or dialer or whatever you can make out of this if you're a 3D artist or something. Cool little thing. So what we want to do before we progress any further is actually, I will, because I prefer it that way. I'm gonna just turn him like this so I can turn it like a knob, more like that. I just prefer it that way. And then I'm gonna find my physical dialer, and you can see I prepared some stuff here which I'm gonna plug in like that. What this is doing is it's gonna set some text on something, and that something is gonna be a text renderer. I just did this off video because I don't want to do it 2 times. It's not like it took that long anyway, but you know. So we're going to set this to center, and we're going to set the font size to, let's say, 8 or something. I'm just going to see how it is. It's going to be bad. Okay, it's bad because we need to hook this one up. Okay. Like that, and where did it go? Oh, it's here. Okay, so it's lying down now. So we need to swing it up on the Y, on the something axis. Text renderer. This one. This one, I think. Did I just turn it upside down? Yes, I did. I hate this stuff. Okay, 180, and then we're gonna push it. Let's put it behind here. That way. So now we can see what value it has. So when we hit play, we're gonna see it says angle round -1, which is not so good, but it's not a problem because we're interested in the value only. And that is actually an important point with this physics rotator here. You need to use the value when you derive, if you want to derive the angle, because the angle itself and the round potentially may be off somewhat because of some of the edge cases where they switch from one round to the other. And because of the physics constraint. Yeah, that's the best way I can figure to explain this. So if we set this to 90 degrees limited, like that, we're going to see that it also still starts at something, not entirely what it should be, but you can see the value. Maybe I should put this a little bit forward, but the value is never going to go beyond the limit. So that's the one that we are going to use. So I'm just going to pull this one forward a little bit so we can see. So it's going to say 90 degrees, no matter how much I try and pull it. But the angle is going to be able to swing above 90 degrees. And if you force it too much, it's going to return back to 0. You can solve this by disabling. If it gets too far from the desired angle, then you can break the constraint or whatever. You can do lots of things, but we're not going to do that. We are going to do something else because there's actually a little problem with this solution here. There's quite a few problems, and I had to do a bit of a hacking for doing this. So actually, no, let's not start with that yet. Let's do something else. We will add in a static mesh more, which is going to be an SM beam. Oops. Like this. And pull it in like this. and try and hit one. So it still works with one of these underneath. The thing is, we can actually grab this one now. No, we can't. Oh, sorry about that. We cannot. But that works pretty good. So let's say you wanted to make some kind of a handle out of this instead. And actually, that with this interaction method, which we could call a twist something, it's going to be a little problematic. Oops. So we're going to move this a little bit to the side, and then we're going to take this and offset it from the center like this. So you can see now it's like a little thing you can pull. Oops. Like this. So you can see there's a little problem here. One of them is that it's actually now possible to pull it way beyond the limit, which is in this case 90 degrees, and in this case 0. So it's completely broken right now. And that is because, or we can do something about that by going into the physical rotator and finding the physics constraint in here. So if we scroll down a little bit under angular limits and switch one of these to limited, then we're going to get stuff opened here. And here you can see that the soft constraint is checked per default. So you want, I mean, at least the way I decided to go with it, I decided to set this to off, like that, and then set it back. So now it is actually off, but and now you can change it again. So what happens is that when I now try and pull this, it can't pass beyond, but it's gonna jitter instead, which is not gonna look good, and it's also gonna jitter in the other direction, which is pretty annoying. So that is something we need to fix. Also, you will notice that the physics seems to have been broken, and that's actually because now it's not just rotating. So the angular damping that we're setting was only for the rotation in the middle, but since it's now moving also in space, it's taking the linear damping into consideration. So that's something we also want to set. So, and at the construction script here, we can drag out, or we can just drag one of these out again and set linear damping for this to be the same as the damping. And that way the physics is gonna work again. So now you can see all the sliding here. Okay, so the next thing we should have a look at is to minimize the jittery stuff. Let's see. Some of it is, as far as I could see, is coming from the fact that this way of deriving the angle is causing this angle to because the constraint is trying to keep it within the allowed range, but the mesh itself is going to jump back and forth a little bit. Trust me, I've tried quite a few ways of solving this, and this might seem like a hack, and it may technically be, because what I did was to use my FRound function, the one that I created in one of the previous videos. If you haven't seen that one, it's this simple function taking in a precision of 100, multiplying it, rounding it, and then dividing it by this same number, 100. Why do I have... Okay, that doesn't make sense at all. I have a variable here, but I don't have a variable there. Strange. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of that and just type 100. It's gonna be more clear. But that function here, really. So if we insert that in the rotator before we set the angle, we should get something that behaves quite a bit better. Now it's not jittering, and it's jittering at the top for some reason. I haven't really figured out why that is happening. So my solution for that is also a little bit hackish. Oh, did I mention? Did I cover the changes I made to this? I can't remember. In case I didn't, because I might have covered that already. I changed the value for these, the ones that I was saying something with 180 and 360. I changed it completely, and if I didn't mention it, just copy it from my screen. If I did, then forgive me for being forgetful. So anyway, all the way towards the end here where we set the angular limit and all that stuff here, what we can do with the top limit, the 90 degrees in this case here, is to make a branch here. And for some reason this does seem to work for the top, for the maximum. It does not, for some reason, work for the minimum the same way. I tried it, see if I could get it to behave the same way, but I couldn't really make it behave as I wanted it to. So we're going to say if this is the last round here, so basically if it's at the top of the conditions here, we're going to set the static mesh component, drag that out, and set the hard code or hard set the angle, so set world transform get this one to be the angle of the maximum or the limit itself, and the limit is going to be this one here. We're going to drag that one out. The limit, division, the remainder, drag it into the get transform and set it. And now I can't get it to freak out so far. This might not be a perfect solution, but it seems to work. I haven't field tested it in all cases and scenarios, but since you're watching this and you're interested in this stuff here, you may want to give it a real good test, because this is not optimal, I admit. So we have another issue we want to have a look at, and that is also something that I had to figure out by using a kind of a hack. Let's give it a test also. Let's say 20 here. By the way, it's I want to do something like this, and then I'm going to take the physical dialer and rotate that like this. Is this correct? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, just because I want to swing the other way around, this way. It just seems more natural. That way I'm also not hitting the table. But let's say we were to set this at 360 degrees. Then we should be able to run all the way around. You can see what is happening at 360 degrees is this. You're going to be able to pull it off. So that's the thing with the set world transform. It doesn't keep it there. The physics constraint is still going to be pulling it back. So again, as I said, it's a hack, and you can see there's another problem here now at 0. It's going to start to jitter. So the best solution I've been able to come up with for this so far is to hack And I do that by going to the construction script and saying if this is the settings limit, if the limit division by 360, if the remainder of this is equal to 0, then I want to take that up, that limit, and I want to add in a small amount, 0.1. If I go anywhere below this, it doesn't work for some reason. If I go any higher, I'm not happy about it. And in any way, I'm not happy about it. But this is, yeah, so far the best, the closest I've been able to come to a solution. So basically, I'm setting the limit to be this adjusted limit. Select, sorry. So if this is equal, then I will add it in. If it's not equal to, then I will just use that, whatever it was. So not modified at all. So something like this. And the effect is that it's not working. Why is it not working? That was kind of anti-climax. And the fact is that it's not working. What the fuck? Well, the 0 is working now. I don't know why it's rumbling like that. Relax. Okay, so this is working, okay. This is definitely not working. What the fudge cake? Well, I would have sworn this was working. Give me a moment. I will see if I can figure out what could be missing from this very interesting solution here. This is equal to this is check this. Set the limit here. I did the soft constraint. Oh, by the way, the last angle, the angle, where will you set the angle? We do that on begin event. Just remembering I forgot something. Here we set the angle, and since we are doing something with the last angle, I just remember that we forget to set that on begin play. I forgot that we need to set that to equal to the angle, obviously, because that's going to be the last angle, which might not be 0. So, but I don't suppose that has anything to do with that jittery thing that we see here. I wonder what happens if I try and increase this just for a second, just to test something out. Oh my god, this actually does it. So it's some kind of rounding error. So if I set this to 0.2 something, oh no, this is not good. Then it stops. I get the right value, but this means, why? What happened? Okay. Oops. That my but anyway, my value can only be precise to whole degrees, which is gonna be okay, I guess. I don't really see the need to be more precise with this stuff here. I'm gonna leave it with this for now, because I'm pretty sure I will have to do a round of bug fixes and workarounds anyway when I start to implement the other way of grabbing, because that's going to be quite different. And I haven't tried to combine the two things. I had it separately, but I decided to try and put them all in one setup. But the first test I made was really dirty, but it was working, and honestly a little bit better than this is. But I'm gonna try and do this, do it this way here, really. So for now, I'm afraid I will have to add in 0.2. That's really, it's a really bad solution. I am not happy about this. I wonder if this would solve anything if I were rounding only to this, like 1 digit or something. I don't suppose so. Or maybe it did. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, we're gonna go with that. But I'm afraid this is still not the best solution. Because, yeah, well, you're also gonna have the... No, it's 0.2 thing. So this is not fixed. Oh, is it? 0.1 is working. Okay, this is working, but yeah, I'm losing a little bit precision with this. In the F round function I'm using also for the slider, but again, if you need more precision, we can rewrite this stuff here and give it a precision parameter, and then we can override that in the other one, in the slider. Because I used it in here as well to get rid of some rounding errors. Because this means I'm gonna throw away everything except the last digit. So 10.5, 10.6, 10.8, and so on. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But mainly because I don't really know how to fix it. So, So, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but I also doesn't know how to fix it. That's what I'm saying. By the way, I'm just gonna make this tiny bit smaller because it's kind of annoying to swing my arm that much. Oh, that's cute. Well, yeah, it is still a twister thing. So even though you can operate that way, though I don't understand why it's shaking the control that much. Usually when it does that, it means that it's moving and that it is firing a, I think it's an overlap event somewhere. I seem to remember I've seen this before, but I can't remember where. So I'm gonna leave it with that for now. But just make a mental note that we have some issues that we need to solve, and that I don't currently have the answers for them. But we're going to continue in the next video and see if we can get around to all of the things, because we are missing quite a bit of functionality compared to the slider. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and fix that first, and then we'll come back to the alternative way of manipulating the rotator after that. So we're going to take a few videos and do the rest of the functionality, and then we're going to get to the new stuff. Okay, that's it for this video. The hacky one. I hope I will get a chance to make this a little bit better in one of the next videos, because honestly I am not happy about this. Did I say that before? Yes. Okay, bye for now.